gets up on the track.
Okay, so in this video we're going to discuss my top 5 tips for lean bulking. So point number 1 is make sure you're starting from a lean base. Whenever you're looking to bulk and add muscle size, it's going to take you having to push your body weight up, which means no matter how much you're looking to lean bulk, some body fat will be added. The reason for this is that when you're adding muscle mass, you need to be in a calorie surplus. Therefore, if you're in a calorie surplus, you are going to add some degree of body fat. This is why it's imperative that you start with your body fat at a very low level, so then you can grow for a longer period of time. If you start trying to bulk and you're already fat, you're fucked. You're basically just going to get fatter and fatter and fatter. Your body also doesn't grow very well from a fat position. From a hormonal point of view, when you're very lean, your body's very efficient and will grow muscle tissue much better than when you're off-season fat. From a hormonal standpoint of view as well, in terms of your insulin sensitivity and your sensitivity to carbs, when you're much leaner, your body will utilise carbohydrates a lot better than when you're holding a lot more body weight. So that's why pretty much when 90% of people first come to me, I'd always suggest a diet first and then look to add muscle mass, even if their longer term goal is to get bigger. If you start fat and try and grow, put on size from there, it's getting messy real fast. My body weight, the highest I went up to was about 108, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I just got very, very fat, so not a good idea. That brings me into point number 2, and that is don't chase body weight. So don't chase scales, don't chase body weight. The best thing to do is just look at the mirror and look at your lifts as you're training in the gym. Focus on getting stronger progressively, so progressive overload training. Look to get stronger all the time, consistently improve those. Put in more and more food, slowly bring your body weight up, but don't chase the scales. Chasing the scales is just going to end up with your body weight becoming a bit of a disaster. You're going to end up becoming a fat mess. Also, chances are, in terms of digestively, you'll have issues. So one big thing I've taken on board is that I don't eat if you miss a meal, don't put another one on top of it. So don't put 2 meals together. That's not any benefit to anyone. Your body can only absorb a certain amount of nutrients and food in one time and utilise that. If you're putting 2 meals together, you're increasing your chance of storing more body fat. The likelihood of you storing more body fat is going to come about a lot of the time when you eat too many calories in one sitting. So if you binge eat in one meal, put 2 meals together, you're going to end up storing more body fat because your body can't utilise the extra food. It can only absorb a certain amount of protein, carbohydrates and fats in one go. So that would be point number 2. Don't chase the scales, be sensible, look at the mirror, look at your logbook in terms of your strength improving, go on the feel of your body. If you're getting fat, rein in a little bit. It's always acceptable to do a mini cut when you're bulking, so that's something to bear in mind. So if you've been pushing up for a while and you think you're getting a bit soft, then do cut back. That being said, you do need to put on body weight and a body fat to grow, so bear that in mind. Okay, so this brings me on to point number 3, which I sort of briefly covered in the previous post question. So that's type of training. So progressive overload, you just want to get strong, but also focus in terms of muscular contractions. Don't just throw weight around for the sake of it, but make sure you're logging your lifts, ensuring you're consistently getting stronger over a period of time. You're not going to benefit from pissing around doing giant sets, so the supersets, getting a pump, in my opinion. So if you can keep getting stronger, that will show in your physique. Anyone who's big, chances are they're very strong, or they got very big becoming very strong. You can't be big without being strong. So if your goal is to get bigger, get strong. It's a very layman's terms technique, but it does work. But also, the only caveat to that is focus on technique and muscle engagement. Don't just throw weight for the sake of throwing weight. I've been guilty of that in the past, and it leads to injury. So think of what's moving what, and look to improve your weight lifting with consistent form over a period of time. And that is the key to progressive overload. Okay, so point number 4 is calorie cycling. So best way to do this, in my opinion, is using almost like carb cycling through having higher carbohydrate amounts on training days. So push a lot of carbohydrates around pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout. And I will also use a product. I'm not sponsored by Redcon One, but I need to try at all, by the way. But RPG by Redcon One, just want to show that. That's a glucose disposal agent that will help your body push more nutrients into the muscles, not into fat cells. So nutrient partitioning agent, I think it's called. So that again should help with the uptake of extra carbohydrates. So with carb cycling, again, you want to push more carbohydrates when you need them, so have more on training days, even maybe slightly more on leg days. Rest days, I personally run 0 carb at the moment, or generally would go much lower. So my training day calories are around 5,000, my rest days around 3.5. So think, when does your body need food, when does it need calories, when you're working out, when you're training, so feed it appropriately in that manner. That will also give you some balance over the week, so you can have peaks and troughs, which will obviously give you a slightly lower overall calorie allowance. Point number 5, partly covered on the previous point, which is carb timing. So with your carbohydrates, you want to push them all around the workouts, keep them in that manner. If you're working an office job, there's no point taking a shit ton of carbs first thing in the morning and then sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, because you don't need them. Unless you're a particularly hard gainer and you struggle to put on weight, then I slowly bring in carbohydrates early in the day. But if you can put on body weight quite easily, which most of us can, then pushing carbohydrates mainly around training window, so pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout, is really what's going to be optimal. In terms of post-workout carbohydrates, I prefer faster acting carbohydrates, something that's easy to digest. Same with intra-workout, I'd favour a carbohydrate powder like cyclic dextrin. And then pre-workout, at the moment I'm enjoying ground rice, which everyone will see on my Instagram stories, as it's much lighter in the stomach than oats. Oats, to me, if you have to eat quite a lot of them, is very heavy on the stomach, so I wouldn't recommend it from that point of view. So these are my 5 tips for lean bulking, guys. If you've got any other tips, please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. It's coming up to the festive season. You see it's dark outside, so I thought it's about time that a lot of you people go into hibernation mode looking to grow, so you'd be helpful from this content. So let me know what you think of the video. Please like the channel, subscribe. Peace.
Get up on the track.